Hello and welcome to Chapter 3, Section 3, where we are solving inequalities using multiplication and division. You can multiply or divide both sides of an inequality with a positive number, and that sentence will still always be true. However, if you multiply or divide by a negative number, the inequality sign flips. Let's do some examples. 3x is greater than negative 27. If I divide both sides by 3, then x is greater than negative 9. I divided by a positive number. This stayed the same. If I multiply both sides by 3/2, then that goes away and r is less than 9. If I divide by a negative number, then this sign flips and x equals negative 9. If I multiply by a negative number, then this sign flips and x 15 is greater than or equal to x. When you're multiplying and dividing, the rules are different and it can affect the direction of your inequalities. And all of these questions are going to ask you to graph your answers. X is greater than negative 9. We're going to find negative 9 and do an open circle, and x is bigger than that, so the arrow goes this way. R is smaller than 9. So we're doing an open arrow and r is smaller than it. X is smaller than negative 9, so we're going to find negative 9 again, but x is smaller than it this time. And here we're looking at 15 and it's a closed circle and x is smaller than it. So we've graphed our 4 equations. There are 2 word problems we're going to talk about for this one. The first one is on page 184. Ryan has a $16 gift card for a health store, and all the smoothies cost $2.50 with tax. So how many possible smoothies can Ryan buy? Well, if he's spending $2.50, how many smoothies can he buy so that it either equals $16 or it's less than $60, but it can't go over $16? So we're going to divide. This is a multiplication, so we're going to divide each side by 250 so that these cancel out, and s is equal to, and s is smaller than or equal to 6.4. The other type of word problem you're going to end up with: the area of a rectangle is at most 50 inches squared. The length of the rectangle is 7 inches. What are the possible measurements for the rectangle? Here we want to draw a picture so we know what we're talking about. We have a rectangle, and it tells us that the area is 50 inches squared and the length is 7 inches. And what are the possible measurements? Well, we know that one of the measurements is going to be 7 inches. We just don't know what the other one is. Our question is 7 times what? And it doesn't equal 50 because it says at most 50, which means it can't be bigger than 50. So 50 is our answer, but the question has to be smaller than it. It can equal 50 though, because it's at most 50. So 7 times what is less than or equal to 50? And let's put an x in this spot. So we're going to divide both sides by 7. And x is going to equal 50 over 7, which is 7.14 inches. So the question, what are the possible measurements for the rectangle? It's 7 inches by 7.1 inches. A similar question The area of a square is at least 70 centimeters squared. What is the smallest the side can be to the nearest tenth of a centimeter? Here we have a square, which means we know all of the sides are the same, and the area is 70. So we're going to pull out our calculator and we're going to say 70 square root. And we get 8.36666. And we're going to round to the nearest tenth. So we're going to look next door and we're going to see that each side is 8.4 centimeters. Please pause the video here to check it out numbers 1, 2, and 3 and come back when you've finished. And please do them first and come back when you've finished. That's how you guarantee that you will pass this test with great grades. Check it out. Number 1 has 4k is greater than 24. We're going to divide each side by 4 to get 6. Negative 50 is greater than or equal to 5 cubed. We're going to divide each side by 5 and we're going to get negative 10. 3/4 g is greater than 27. We're going to divide each side by this 3/4, which means we're going to flip and multiply. And when we multiply 27 by 4/3, the 3's cancel out, and 9 times 4 is 36. 2a, 10 is greater than or equal to negative x. This is really a negative 1x, so we're going to divide each side by negative 1, and we're going to flip the sign, and negative 10 is less than or equal to x. 4.25 is greater than negative 0.25h. We're going to divide each side by 0.25h, and we're going to flip the sign, and negative 17 is smaller than h. Number 3 is 128 ounces of juice, and how many 10-ounce servings can this 128 ounces fill? We're going to divide each side by 10 to get 12.8 is greater than or equal to s. And we're going to graph all of these. K is greater than 6, but does not include it, so it's an open circle with an arrow going up. Negative 10 is a closed purple circle in here with the arrow going down. 36 is way up here and it's an open circle with the arrow going up. Negative 10 is an closed blue circle with the arrow going up because x is greater than it. And negative 17 is way down here with an open circle and the arrow is going up. Your homework for tonight starts on page 185. It's numbers 30 to 56 plus number 66. And once this is done, you have a quiz. So please make sure you've gone over sections 1, 2, and 3 so that you're solid in that. Please make sure you ask me any questions, and I will see you tomorrow.